Greetings, Guardians. My name is Bife here. We're doing this live. First things first, really quickly, yes, I will add a Greetings, Guardians whenever we start the recordings of these, because I know all of you were missing that. And yeah, that's totally valid criticism. Secondly, we're going to continue experimenting with this live stream format, and yeah, we'll be answering questions at the end of everything. I'll be giving you my thoughts and summary of what we see at each of the things. We'll try doing this for Weekly Story. We're still working on getting other things enabled and whatnot, but yeah, expect this to be the first of many, assuming that this continues to get the good response it did. And to give a quick little bit of clarification to everybody, yes, I am not going to stop making the typical content that you would expect from me normally. I've written a bunch of scripts. I have 22 pages worth of script that I still need to record. The typical structured scripted lore videos aren't going anywhere. I think I just want to do this for actually playing through the game and doing things. However, today we're going to go ahead and do Heresy Act 3, Week 1. And apparently there's a cutscene when we start, so I'm going to mute my microphone, and we're going to go ahead and watch that.
I am strife. I am death. I am Xivu Arath. And I am your end. Your false god cowers in her cyst world, scheming to profane a true throne. Defy me. Lift your blade to mine. Let their edges clash and keen and sing. Raise a head to the god of war.
Oh, fuck. Oh, gee. Oh, whoa. Okay. I was not ready for in-engine Xivu. What? Oh, can I just say as well, of all, I understand they can't get voice acting for all sorts of things to do with the strike. I am so glad that was voiced. Oh my god. What a banger. Ooh. Okay. All right. Oh, let's check quests and see what we got to do. Ooh, actually, first, you guys ready for a little bit of a... You guys ready for some fun? Because Season Pass things, I'll keep this in the video as well. We get the whole new 200 last 50 ranks worth of stuff, and I saved up seasonal challenges. So, you guys who are watching here, you go ahead and get to enjoy all of this. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. There we go. That's much better, isn't it? Oh yeah, and I can claim this that I happened to do on the side and remembered. We're gonna go ahead... Yeah, for context, by the way, really quickly. We're gonna go ahead and check... Yeah. Ooh. Ah, dyadic perfection. Here we go, new Barrow dyad things. One last set of signals to track down Guardian, and then that ought to be the last of it. Sloan sends you some data. These were hiding. That makes them sound like they have a will of their own, doesn't it? Sloan grimaces at the idea. I don't think they do, she says. But all the same, collect carefully and remain in control of your taken powers. You're in charge of the weapon, not the other way around. With that wisdom delivered, Sloan nods at you and waves you off to hunt through the Dreadnought once more. Alright, so... Not sure what this is for, but it's going to be either target lock or one for all. Okay. Ah, there we go. So we do have more stuff we can get. Your vault will be hacked by Datto? Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Your sisters seek to reclaim you. They would carve you into the brother they remember.
The Inquisition of the Self. Heresy. They have changed too much.
For love, a sister would do more than heresy.
Not love. Without our war, without me, they have found failure instead of victory.
You were slain. Do you think your killer, my truest knife, could not do the same again?
A bold claim. You barely hold me here. Though your throne reeks of a familiar ichor.
Savathun, dead by my hand. Xivu Arath, cut from her throne. These are my foundations. You think I barely hold you. Test me, and find how I have used your sister's strength.
I promise that I will. To break your chains with my own might would be a new triumph.
Then prove it is your own might. A victory while I am distracted by Xivu Arath is worth nothing at all.
She would cleave your throne world for my dreadnought to steal me.
By rituals of battle, I presume. I have dealt with them before.
I have not seen these deeds. Not yours, nor those of the Guardian you wield as knife. Xivu Arath must choose an altar rich with violence. Triumph again. I await it.
Guardian, there is a place deep in the Dreadnought that I know. You must halt what Xivu Arath has begun. Or she may yet claim her prize.
Okay, so really quickly as well. Let me check the quest step. Yep, Sunless Cell Strike. Here we go. Tear the echo from Eris's throne. Stop Xivu Arath, rather. Okay, so this is the new qualification for Xivu Arath stuff. Okay, so really quickly, first of all, back and forth between these two. That's really cool to see. And the fact that they're not treating each other as though they are... I mean, they are treating each other as adversaries, but it's all with a tone of respect, and I think that is so cool. The fact that they are looking at each other as true adversaries and not just like one observing an overwhelming god and the other one observing some upstart. Oh man, it's really, really cool just to see that dynamic play out. As far as Eris, talking about her throne world too, she drops a really interesting point here, which kind of goes contrary to my understanding of how sword logic works, which is also that Xivu Arath's banishment from her throne helped as a foundation to create Eris's throne here in the Noiseless Chantry. So that's kind of interesting, because that's not how I thought the understanding of it worked. I thought that that was... all of this was because purely she killed Savathun at that one point. Might be wrong. Might be something where I'm misinterpreting that. Might be something where we need to alter our understanding of sword logic. Not totally sure. Meantime, the ritual in the Sunless Cell. It may be that the Dark Blade is enacting this ritual. It may be that we are actually conducting Sloane's plan, which was talked about in some of the lore books for Heresy. In fact, it was... yeah, it was their Heresy and Truth lore book. I think it's the Iris lore entry. Basically, she talks about the plan to fight Xivu Arath being, don't fight her directly, because that's what our God of War wants, but instead, rush to kill her targets as quickly as possible. It's possible that this ritual that Xivu is enacting requires her to prove her might and to prove her strength by killing something really big. Something big that is within the Sunless Cell, aka the stand-in for whoever Alakul is being replaced by this time around. In so doing, we're actually following Sloane's plan here, and we're able to maybe counteract that ritual. The other possibility is that Xivu is actually just conducting the ritual there, and that we're going to kill Xivu's commander who is conducting the ritual itself. Not sure which, we'll find out as we go through this. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. And there it is, the Sunless Cell. Alright, let's do it. Xivu Arath did not die, she was banished, which means that she only has one life. She was not able to access her throne world, but she's not like gone. She's never been gone, if that makes sense.
Once, these cells were kept by Oryx. He imprisoned defeated enemies and discarded progeny to be stripped for chitin and repurposed into something useful. Now this prison is occupied by the Taken, and Xivu Arath's hive come to bring the war to them.
Man, alright. We don't have bets or anything. Oh, hey, by the way, Prophet. Yeah, we don't have bets or anything enabled on this. It's time to find out if it's Kelgarath, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to find out. Let's go. No matter how we slice it, Xivu Arath gains power from fighting. We're in a poor position to start. But we can minimize what she gains, be efficient, strike fast, disrupt her ritual before it can gain traction. No matter... Ooh. Okay, there's repeated dialogue there. I know your tactics as the blade knows the meat of offering. I am with you all along. Ooh, is that... What are you? That is a Taken Osseous fragment. Hello. And there is one up. Yeah, there's one up somewhere. Yeah, it's up here. Spoiler alert, by the way. If you look at your radar, you can see these. My money is on Golgoroth. I think Golgoroth is very, very dead. Hello. Let's see. Alright, we just gotta kill some hive here. Small note, but I like the attention to detail that this is the same brood that Xivu has commandeered from the moon that is now being used by her for all her stuff. Ooh, it's down here, I think. Unless that's just the standard objective marker. Sorry, now that I know that there are Osseous fragments in here, I'm watching the radar like a bit of a hawk. Consume. Oh, Suffocating Terror. Channeler of Terror. Okay, so more of this Taken nonsense with whoever the new controlling master of the Taken is. That's not good. Instrument of War, bring me a feast. Oh, the forces glory in these fights. They build tithes in battle, not only victory. Cut them short. Alright, let's just do this. Go boom. More channelers, okay. Has Toland popped up at all this season? I mean, he appears as like the ball that guides you around, but no dialogue, no lore, no nothing. I would definitely believe that he is watching all of this, though, with quite keen intent. There is no way that he's not looking at all this and sitting and having thoughts. Because, yeah, your man is undoubtedly doing things. It's just a question of, like, what his thoughts will be when all of this is over or when a certain critical point comes along. We might still encounter him. We still have, I imagine, 3 weeks worth of Act 3 left. As well as some other story stuff that might come along at the end. I don't know. I say that because sometimes before expansions come along, they have additional supplementary story things. But who knows, maybe that's what Rite of the Nine's meant to be, and it's just not linked with Toland. Unrelated question, what's the role on your...
Piece of violence.
I see Xivu Arath's ritual proceeds apace. If you reach beyond your own prison.
So it does. And I see you are familiar with the art of fighting our god of war. You cut her battle short. Blunt, but respectable. I have in my time done the same.
Taken putting up walls after Hive already inside. That's not late. That's strategy. They're up to something. Oh, interesting.
Xivu Arath's hunters will become the hunted. They will have no retreat.
Can I also just say, it's really nice to be back here. This is one of my favorite areas of the Dreadnought period.
What a killing floor this would be.
So context, this is the first place where we actually fight Ekthar, the Blade of Oryx, which is one of my favorite, like, like significant characters in Destiny, just because he represents kind of this awesome moment of our own growth, because he's part of the quest for us to get our exotic swords. Yeah, unrelated question, by the way, what's the role in the Bygones? I have a Kinetic Tremors role, but I also like Kinetic Tremors with Shoot to Loot. Reason being is Kinetic Tremors will pick up ammo whenever it procs. So, like, yeah, you basically have a really awesome way of getting a passive ammo generation in the background from stuff that drops that's just a bit too far away. Clove Donix, thank you for the $5. Let's see. Surprised we haven't heard anything from Nokris since Arrivals. I mean, we killed Nokris in Arrivals. For being a god of necromancy, you'd think that he'd have a backup plan if he died. Maybe, but like most... Am I really gonna... Wow. Oh my god. Never mind. Yeah, no. When it comes down to it, Nokris was not as powerful as most others. So, like, the fact that he was in that place of not actually being able to have a backup plan is not too surprising. In my opinion, like, if you're going to go ahead and keep that in context, I think it's not too surprising that he's kind of dead. You know? Sometimes I wonder if we could see more from Nokris, but I just don't think he had the same kind of impact as some other characters. Yes, F, indeed. Ooh, Suffocating Terror. Ooh, there's a big eye. That is terrifying. Don't like the position of that. That feels real bad. Custodian of Terror? Man, they really are... Yeah, they're really doing this thing of trying to push forward the terror aspect of it. Also, further interesting stuff to see that the Dread are still working alongside the Taken. He's already died twice, he can stay gone. Honestly, kind of, yeah. TBH. The first death felt like it wasn't even really something too major, just because it was kind of a nothing. Also, hello Ares, good to see you. Lucent Nokris would go hard. If it's done right, I feel like... I don't know, it's a very weird one. I feel like if I want to see Nokris... And this is my personal taste, doesn't mean this is what they are going to do or have to do at all. If I want to see Nokris back, I want to see him back kind of in a capacity where Savathûn reaches back and inquires from a memory of him as to how to further do necromancy. That's kind of the only capacity I'd want to see him return in. There we go. This soundtrack? Yeah. Oh, we're about to get to the bit with 10 billion shriekers. Also, I bet that somewhere within the hanging... Oh.
Oh, I do see why she likes you.
Nothing more than pockets of battle here. You must keep going deeper still.
The deepest part of this prison has seen the most death, the most suffering.
If you cannot bring yourself to provide something useful, be quiet.
Useful. The Dreadnought was made after my memory, but I understand the flow of energy here. You're running out of time.
Man, I love their back and forth so much. That is so cool. Oh, that is a... Oh, that's a big captain. Ooh, don't like that. Yeah, the back and forth between Oryx and Eris is phenomenal. Not just because there are moments where, like, one of them gets to sort of be the one in control and have that flow of power and back and forth, but also just because, like, at this point, it genuinely does feel like the two of them are actually equals, you know? It's kind of awesome to see. Oh no, Monkey, don't drop all the way ahead. Imagine telling Oryx to shut the f up. Yeah, love it. It's so good. Also, can we get some respect for the remastered hanging crypts? This looks incredible. It's always been a really cool area, but like, damn. There you go, friend. Oh boy.
There! You are there! The Hive and the Taken, and the ritual between them. The hilt of the Willbreaker. By the relic of a brother's sword, Xivu Arath would cleave the Dreadnought from my throne.
Ah. Willbreaker, we need that Hilt Guardian get shooting.
You
So,
treat the Taken as something apart from the Hive. They do have other species among their number, but it was I who made them. They are Hive, and their newfound curiosities serve me well.
that is an interesting piece of dialogue for so many reasons. The Taken being a part of the Hive and Oryx having made them kind of helps to nail down and confirm some bits in lore that have never truly been confirmed, right? Like, it tells us those Grimoire cards from D1.
Disrupted the ritual, but something else has stepped into the gap.
This is not my taking. Knife of my slaying. To arms.
You have no authority here.
Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be bad. What matters taking down what empowers Xivu Arath, right? Oh, has it just gotten darker? Transformed. Ah! Yeah, again, this is pushing to that idea. There is something else controlling the Taken here. This also helps us kind of understand that the relationship between the Winnower and the Taken is not quite what we understood at first. Xivu, no more Hive in the area. Activity's dying down. Xivu Arath's sword is still in the Dreadnought, but everything else seems fine. Hey, we got the Hilt
She
of
will not
Willbreaker.
soon be able to try again. For now, we have one. And we have Willbreaker's hilt. He's secure, discontented, but held fast.
I trust you.
Do you hear him? Do you hear him intervening any further? He is secure.
You do have control, I know that, but taking his advice is risky at best. Riskier than everything else you've done.
I have him. I have him.
Okay, so context. Way back in the Destiny 1 era, also Lamau, no, it is not Kelgrath. Way back in the Destiny 1 era, there was a big question based on the Grimoire cards that kind of arose over time, which was basically, was Oryx the one taking and creating the Taken, or was it instead something else? And a long-running hypothesis was that it was actually the Winnower. That was kind of something that we'd kind of come to accept over time. That being said, seems like that might not necessarily be the case based on what Oryx just said. However, then he goes on and says, these are not my Taken, these are not the ones carved by my knife. So it's interesting. Maybe it's the case that there is just a thing above everything, being the Winnower, and then there is whatever this auxiliary force in the background is. The Hilt of Willbreaker being a green item is quite funny to me. Yeah, no, that is quite funny. You know, just the remains of one of the most powerful weapons possibly in all existence, possibly almost definitely in all the solar system, you know. Shattered planets and destroyed worlds and all the other good stuff, but you know, it's green. This Sparrow though, Ridge Runner Rex, people fail to say this name of this Sparrow because it's so fearsome. I mean, this thing is legendary. Not like the Hilt of Willbreaker. Green dismantle, shake my head. New Nether Zone hull breach. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at all of that when time goes on. At the moment though, let's check in with the slab. Oh, we have a whole gamut of new quests here. Ah, okay. What in the world? So some of these are clearly to do with, like some of these look like they're to do with the Path of Resolve, and some look like they're to do with the Path of Ambition. It's a solid 2 hours of footage. My drive is going to be screaming at me, but whatever. There it is.
My proud sister reduced to this. Our joyful war nothing but a tantrum. Could you not taste it in the violence you just made your own? I took the power of my sisters to slay the Wormaka. Their true deaths, made in the sword world. There is no closer embrace. I drew Xivu Arath and Savathun about myself, and their hunger was my own. But the betrayer-taken king gave their true lives back. Our sword logic, poisoned. My sisters now are hollow, blunted. His mercy made them so. I barely know them. So, you have forestalled Xivu Arath. Her ritual scatters. This throne world and its chains stand. Knife of my slaying. You show your sharpness well.
Alright, and that's part 1 done. We get Willbreaker munitions as a result. That's the thing that I was talking about in the quest. That Oryx is giving us to help. Seems he has yet again chosen a side. Let's see. This is the we'll pick up next week step, but my proud sister reduced to this, Oryx laughs. He is simultaneously pleased by the triumph of his presumptive heir and disappointed by the defeat of his sister. My sisters are now hollow, blunted. Oryx considers his role in what has become of the Hive Pantheon. So you have forestalled Xivu Arath, her ritual scatters. This throne world and its chains stand. Ooh, the Echo of Navigation Oryx is silent for now, waiting for an opportunity to present itself. Our plans have worked, but the next step is unclear. Continue delving into the Dreadnought and thinning the opposition. Still no word on who this weird, unknown new Master of the Taken is, and I have questions. I have so many questions as to what's going on. I think if we weaken Savathun and Xivu Arath enough, that's the point at which we will essentially make a power vacuum for them. Which is a terrifying possibility. Hey Byth, what do you think Toland is doing at this point in the story? I think he's watching on and is kind of glad and mad. We have both not claimed the throne and also started claiming more Taken Darkness powers. And that's hilarious, to a certain extent. Alright, so, talking about everything we have seen thus far, let's go down into the study. Sit and talk and have a little discussion. So if we're trying to understand everything that has happened thus far, and the story, I think this moment was kind of meant to be the big push from Xivu. Blunting everything that has just happened with her is, I mean, it's kind of an extraordinary move for us in one sense, because it shows just how powerful the Guardian has potentially become, but it also shows how weak Xivu is. The effects of Eris banishing her are still very much plain as day to see, and it's definitely going to be something that will bother her in the future. She will not have the same degree of power that I think she's accustomed to. That makes her dangerous because it means she's potentially one to try more ridiculous and terrible and honestly just silly things. Like, I don't know if people understand what a desperate hive god looks like until you remember that in the Books of Sorrow, when Oryx got desperate enough, he literally ended up killing both his siblings and fighting one of his own gods. Like, when you put a hive god in a corner, it's bad. The other thing I think that's worth remembering about it all is just there is a kind of dynamic here by which we need to pick the Pantheon apart. Oryx and Xivu Arath and Savathun always came as this somewhat vaguely united triumvirate for years, and then they've slowly been split off, first by the death of Oryx, then by Savathun taking the light, and then by Xivu Arath's banishment, and now we have the ability to play them against each other. That actually matters a whole bunch. Like, it's a good deal of power and friction we can create in those moments, but I think actually understanding how we can manipulate that and do the best of it That matters a whole lot more in this moment now, because running distraction is part of what we're doing. Recovering Willbreaker also means that potentially, if we want, we can destroy the Echo of the Navigator, which is part of the plan that Sloane has. Because remember, we've recovered a lot of the shards of the blade, and we just recovered the hilt of Willbreaker. I don't know if we need to recover a quote-unquote crossguard of Willbreaker. I don't think there was one on the original sword. It was just kind of a blade and a hilt. So that'll be interesting. Might be that we need to recover the original piece of it that was lost when our various exotic swords got destroyed in the Red War. Not totally sure about that. That might be the last piece we need to reforge the blade. All of that being said, the really interesting divide that is being pushed between Savathûn and Xivu Arath as they're trying to reclaim Oryx, the one that we have been actively sort of pulling apart in this moment, it's going to get even more tense if that force that is controlling the Dread and the Taken steps into view and starts to really manifest things. And I think that that's what's going to happen in the next few weeks, because here's the thing, right? We're at this moment where Xivu's offensive has been blunted. Savathûn has not really made her moves yet. She may make a move right at the end. But the unknown master of the Taken is still doing things. Like, when it came down to the Darkblade that we fought within the Sunless Cell reprisal, they then went ahead and took the Darkblade and made them into a Taken Knight. They are still actively doing things, and we've had no explanation for it the whole time. It's just been there. And so all of this is building in the background, and I think that this is one of the last few moments where we can potentially see them making their moves. What that means is really interesting for the future, because it means that we're going to get this acknowledgement that there is this major force within the universe, and it's just then going to kind of, yeah, be sort of lopped off into future story things. I also did want to point something out really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and find this post here. I've momentarily dropped out of the game, but I'm going to be looking at... Let me find it on Destiny the game. The post itself from Destiny the game shows something very interesting. Abstain from suffusion, become the Taken will. Carry your ambition into the dark, Guardian. We have no clue who that's from, but it shows the Path of Ambition screen. Sometimes Destiny does this. This is very interesting because the last times they've done this is when, respectively, Savathûn and Keitel invaded the Twitter feed of Destiny the game. Also, yes, people have been saying, Gary your ambition into the dark, which, that's funny. Yeah, carry your ambition into the dark, Guardian. No clue what's going on here, but it does look like it's got tentacles kind of running through this text, you know what I mean? Like, this looks sus as all hell. Yeah, it's very interesting seeing all of this go down. This is clearly a plot thread they're building in the background. I just don't know what's happening with it just yet. I imagine we're going to discover more of it next week. Like, we saw it happen in Barrow Dyad's mission, where there was a Hive Knight that was previously a Taken, like a split, rather, between Hive and Taken. We were fighting both of them. When the Hive version of it died, the Taken one was swallowed up by the Ascendant Plane, and then it took on a new shape, right? Within the Sunless Cell, practically speaking, the same process happens. So, like, there is something in the background that has always been controlling the Dire Taken, and now it's starting to push forward just a little bit. Not sure if that's going to continue and persist for the rest of the story, but we're going to see. Yeah, as for the Navigator and Aeris, I should really bring this up. I love what they've been doing with their dialogue. It's really cool to sit there and see them pushing back and forth on each other. They are, in a certain sense, foils to each other too, because both of them have this superior knowledge of the Hive in one aspect or another. Aeris from facing them and killing them so much, and Oryx from being the Navigator's memory at very least, from literally having the memories of Oryx. And so you just have this really interesting dynamic of a back and forth between them. Like, I think this is kind of what I wish we'd seen in Taken King all those years ago. Granted, Destiny 1 was a very different game, but the banter and the back and forth between Aeris and Oryx is awesome. Like, it's some of the strongest character back and forth that we've gotten in Destiny in a while. I'm very glad to see it. So yeah, I'm also hearing some stuff that there's going to be new things with the area of the Dreadnought that was discovered. people earlier, I think, were trying to point out that there was a area of it where there was like a ball shield up over one area. There was one bit which had some taken energy. I'm not sure. I need to go ahead and investigate it in a lot more depth. So yeah, I'll go ahead, do another run of the Nether. We'll go ahead and continue doing that on stream. In the meantime, though, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. And for those of you who caught this live, thank you so much. In the meantime, though, my name is Bife, Paradacia ad Astra. I'll see you Starside.